Your favorite player in the world?
Steven Gerrard.
What is your favorite meal after a game?
My favorite meal, muchachos. Love muchachos.
Okay, that's a good one. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
I'm joined today by Kaylin Swart, international goalkeeper, Banyana #1.
It's an honor to, rep the brand, and yeah, thanks for having me.
How old were you when you first started playing football, and why? How'd you get into it?
Well, I'm from PE, I'm from Port Elizabeth, and so it all started back home in the street. At 5, 6 years old, I was playing with the boys in the street, or I was playing in the yard. And yeah, that's kind of when it started for me. And then I think around 7 is when my dad asked me if I wanted to play, competitively. And I was like, I'd rather play in the street because it was so much fun.
Okay.
But yeah, and I started with the boys team from the age of 6, 7, up until I was 13 years old. And then after that, obviously, puberty started hitting, and they were saying that, yeah, the boys are going to hurt me, but I was hurting them.
Okay.
But yeah, that's where it started. And obviously going into high school, cricket was a part of my life too. And playing Easter Province cricket at the time, I had to choose between cricket and soccer. And football was always my first love. So yeah, and then I went to boarding school in Pretoria. So I left home at a tender age at 14, and I've never been back since.
Was that for like a football school?
Football school, yes. I went to an academy, and yeah, I left at 14, and I'm turning 30 now, and I haven't lived with my parents since. Yeah, to be where I am now, it's such a humbling experience, only because of where I've come from and how much I've had to endure to get to the position that I'm in right now.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Well, the country's thankful. You guys brought home AFCON. I know that in 2018 we didn't quite make it. What was that like, being so close?
Oh, that was hard, because at the time we were still kind of building, the team. Yes, we were good at the time, but I think there was just a little bit more that we needed to give. And 2018 in Ghana, it's still hard to process, because that was really the stepping stone of where we are now. But if you look back at 2018, that tournament, we really wanted to win it, but obviously coming so close in the final, losing on penalties against Nigeria was probably the toughest pill to swallow. But then fast forward 4 years, in Morocco, 2022 is when we clinched the title, and we are African champions at the moment. And hopefully this year we can defend that title and go back to back. But yeah, I think that was obviously the stepping stone for us to be where we are. And for the 4 years we grinded out so much because we really wanted to be successful. And we all knew that if we put in the work, in the next 4 years, I think everything will just, transpire into success, because then we went to the 2019 World Cup, and then obviously we missed out to the 2020 Olympics, and then obviously going 2021, 2022 going to AFCON, and then obviously the FIFA World Cup in 2023 last year. So yeah, there's so many, so many dates that are such a magnificent achievement for us, but also just the fact that we've come from where we were, rock bottom, to where we are now. It also just shows the testimony of how much hard work we've put in, in our careers, but also just as a women's footballer, because you've got to deal with so much more. You've got to work because, the salaries are not enough. You've got to have a part-time job just to subsidize your salary. But yeah, those are some of the things that we have to deal with. And obviously not being in a professional league, it's also one of the things that puts us back a little bit, because we are such good individuals and we know exactly what we want for our career and for our life. We really put in the work. We treat ourselves as professionals even though we don't have that title, and I think that also speaks to our mentality that we have, and the mindset that the will to win, and we're going to do whatever it takes to get there.
You mentioned so many important dates. There's 2018 is AFCON, and then there's the Olympics and the World Cup, and then AFCON again,
Yeah.
and you guys are preparing now. Being that young 14-year-old girl that left home, did you ever foresee those kind of big milestones in your career? Was that in your dreams?
Not at all. Not at all. At 14, all I wanted to do was just be at home. Because when I went to boarding school, I think it took me about 3-4 months to get into a routine. And my teammates that were at school with me, they still laugh at me because I used to cry every night and say, oh, I don't want to be a dad, come and fetch me. And yeah, so it took me about 3-4 months to really get into a routine. And I think that's kind of when I got into. So I got there in grade 9, and I think it was in my grade 10 year is when I really decided, okay, you know what, this is where I'm at now, and you know, football's going to be an everyday thing. And yeah, and then that's where it kind of became more serious because we were training every day. We trained twice a day. Then we were in under 17 national team, under 20 national team, and I think that's when the vision kind of started, and you know, the dreams kind of developed, because obviously now we could see that, okay, there is a career in women's football. And yeah, so starting out, no, but as the years went by, I think I kind of realized that, okay, maybe this is something I want to do. And
you've achieved so much in your international career.
Yeah.
There's a lot of young girls that will be looking up to you as a role model. When you were growing up, who was there that you had your eye on? Who inspired you?
For me, locally, Monique Josephs was always he was someone that I always looked up to. Itumeleng Kune was definitely, and now recently, obviously, Ronwin and we're both from the same hometown. So yeah, just the fact that we're representing, you know, our community is massive for us. And but yeah, as female, Hope Solo, the best of the best. Still today, she's my idol. I look up to her, the way she plays, what she brought to the women's game. She still fights, you know, for, you know, the equality of female football. But yeah, she's definitely my idol. This guy, no man.